guys, welcome back to another episode of Heart to Heart Season 2. Today in the studio we have our Singye, who is an entrepreneur, a father, a very, very active member of our society and one of the founding members of ABPI Perth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonam. Thank you so much. Thank you for a good introduction. Like Sonam said, I'm all of whatever she said. On top of that, probably more than what she was said, or even, I don't know, maybe less.
Yes, so, where are you from in Bhutan?
I'm actually, my mother is from Pema, and my father and my mother is basically, they live in Thimphu. So we grew up in Thimphu, in Mutitang.
Oh, okay. Did you do your schooling in Motitang as well?
Yes, I started with Lungtin Zampa and as well as Mutitang as well, and YHS, and after that in India, and then here in Australia as well.
Oh,
so, and currently I'm also studying.
Oh, wow, are you?
Yeah. I'm studying behavioral science from the University School in London.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a part-time, so I don't have to go there every time. So, but I just have to do sort of a distance education.
How long have you been in Perth, though?
That's a good question. It's about like 17 years now, I think.
Oh,
or
wow.
a little bit more than 17 years.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's just a long time.
Were there a lot of people when you first came here?
No, actually, when I first landed in Australia, I was actually in the East Coast. I landed up in the Gold Coast, but actually in Sydney from there. So it was in Gold Coast. So I used to live in a place called Coolangatta. So that's the border town between New South Wales and Queensland. So lived there for about a year or so, a little bit over a year, I suppose. But there weren't any Bhutanese people there when we were there on the Gold Coast. Obviously, because of that reason, we needed to like connect with people and things like that. So decided to move to Perth. And by then, Perth had about like I think 40 to 45 people at tops.
Yeah. That's a really small number compared to what we have now. But then that must have been really reassuring for you back then.
It was because like, see, what happens in life is just because when you're away from home, and that's when you realize what home really means. And also when you do not see your people, your own kind, for a period of time, then you realize the importance of them, the connections, as well as, some way you just feel you yourself losing your identity as a person, right? So therefore, like, it was a good thing to come back here to Perth. I just felt like I'm back home. But even like, you see, forget about 40, even if he had like 3 or 4 people, because that would have been massive at that time.
And how did the decision to come about, like the decision to come to Perth, and then, the decision to come to Australia specifically?
See, while in Bhutan, I was teaching for a couple of years. After my graduation, I did postgrad. And then my then partner, she also just recently graduated. So after that, I was just getting frustrated. It's not just frustrated with the system, I should say. I'm not criticizing it, but I'm just saying it's just because
wanting more from life.
Yeah. And there was too much thing going on out there. So just decided that, just wanted a change of scenery, right? I wanted to change of like everything. And so basically put it like in that way. So I just wanted a new lifestyle kind of a thing. And then I always wanted to explore, travel, see the world. When I was younger, right? I used to see a big mountain. So I always wanted to climb that mountain. When I climbed that mountain, I always saw there was another mountain behind that one. So I wanted to climb that one too. So in that way, it was just sort of a random kind of a thing. But then it was quite difficult to come to Australia as well, because there were not many people who has come to Australia privately. But then there were people on scholarship and things like that, so where they didn't have to go through the processes like we have been through. So there were only really few people in Australia. So then it took us about a good half a year to get back with the visas and things like that. And had to go to Delhi to pick up the visa then from the Australian embassy in Delhi. So it's very different compared to, I believe, how people get visas these days. Yeah.
Yes, I never actually thought about it. Now that you have brought that up, because when we come here, it's like COE fees, and then like we get to do everything from the comfort of our homes, right? Technically not homes, but from the comfort of Bhutan. How was that? How would that work? Like, let's say 17 years ago, how would it go if you needed to come here?
Okay, what would happen was just practically everything was very different, right? Rule-wise, like immigration laws, even the COE that you have to get from the universities and things like that. But back then, you had to pay like a lot of money upfront. And then also for your living expenses, that you had to show the whole living expenses for the whole duration of your stay at once. And there wasn't such thing called student loan or education loan or such thing. There was nothing out there. So it was just quite a challenge just to gather everything and then just like pack up everything, leave your life and start a new life. But at the end of the day, I'm really grateful to family members and people out there in Bhutan that made it possible. But they knew from get-go, I should say, that we are going forever. So because I told them that if I'm on the plane, I won't be coming back. But in a way that like I tell people, I did not come here for economic reasons or things like that. Just came here for lifestyle. I really wanted to build my life and live my life. But eventually I'll go back to Bhutan, but like wanted to live out and see what life has to offer. So that's it. So now I'm here for 17 years. So I don't know how long more before I get bored of this life and then like wanted to go back home.
You said that earlier when we were like talking before the shoot, you said that you had a couple of siblings here. Do you have a lot of family here in Perth or in Australia?
No, I do. The nucleus of my family is my mom, dad, and my two sisters, and then as well as we do have a brother. That's actually my first cousin, but he has been living with us since he was 4. Yeah, he is in Thailand at the moment, like pursuing his PhD. So I think he just recently defended his thesis, I think. So yeah, I have to congratulate him if he's listening.
So in Perth, who all are here?
I got 2 sisters. I'm the eldest and got 2 younger sisters, and both of them are nurses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the sister, my immediate sister, the middle one, she's been here for good 10 years, a little bit over 10 years, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay.
And my youngest sister's just over 2 years old. I mean to say in Australia.
I'm really curious about something. I hope you don't mind me asking.
No,
do you have PR here?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think like probably I could have
Do you
been
have PR or citizenship?
I do have permanent residency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just been we were among the first ones to receive that, like back in, I don't know, maybe 2010, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it easy? How was that like before?
You just had to finish your graduation, right? I just had to do a little bit of a point system and things like that.
Yes.
But you knew that as soon as you finish your degree that you will get it, because by then, like, everybody knew that as soon as you finish your degree, right, that you easily get your permanent residency, because the SO list then was massive and extensive compared to these days, right?
Yeah.
And also, there weren't as much as competition as it is right now. And I mean to say in a way that, like, even, I'm not just talking about, like, from a Bhutanese perspective, I'm just talking about the people from around the world. There weren't many. You see, even Perth, for example, has just changed in front of my own eyes, right?
Yeah.
The landscape in the city, as well as the roads, the population, everything has just changed right in front of my eyes. And so, like, and so when there are more migrants coming into the country and things like that, obviously law changes, rule changes, and then it just becomes more difficult, I suppose. But, you know, if you have the will, there's always a way to get it, no?
Oh, at some point you said you were a teacher?
Yeah.
And I might be wrong, and then we can definitely edit it out. But then I feel like you were because I told you that you look very familiar.
Yeah.
Were you ever a teacher in Bumthang?
Oh, no.
Samsi?
Yeah, Samsi.
Samsi, yes.
But not
Was
in
it Peljoling?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Were you? Oh
Yeah.
my god! That's probably where I saw you.
Yeah, were you in that school too?
Yes, but I was like there for a very very short term.
Yeah.
Very very short term because my mom was there. Like my mom was posted there for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was there. But then
Yeah.
I might because I was only there until I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
From 2nd grade. So I don't think
no,
I
I
was
wouldn't.
there.
It was a very short stay for me there as
Okay.
well. So like, yeah,
Okay,
probably-
what were you teaching? Oh, that's probably where I saw you.
Yeah, no, actually, I did not have anything to teach. Probably history.
Okay.
I taught
Oh, okay.
history and
Oh, okay.
literature at times.
For
as
how
well.
long?
About 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know how I remember you? Because I remember people saying that there was a very good looking, good looking. Were you a DP teacher? Probably not.
No, but like
Oh,
probably
okay.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Now you're embarrassing me.
Oh my god! Because I remember saying that you look very familiar, but then I was like, I would have been like so young then, and I have like I remember people easily. Oh, that's probably where I know you from.
Yeah, and also like there are a few other people who tells me that like I
Yeah.
look like somebody from Bhutan. I don't know,
Okay.
like maybe like it could be my doppelganger. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my god, we
Yeah.
definitely need to talk
Yeah.
about that more when we get off.
definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I also wanted to ask you, like, your life here, right? Everything that you have built.
Yeah.
And just the last time we met, you were telling me about trying your best to be as helpful to your community as you can.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the things that you have done here. Definitely ABPI,
Yeah.
like the cornerstone of, the Bhutanese community, the backbone of the Bhutanese community. How did that come about?
See, ABPI, the Association of Bhutanese in Perth, was actually like an idea for all of Bhutanese to come together, especially Bhutanese living in Western Australia, because we knew that by 2009-10, there was a huge exodus of people from Bhutan to Australia, and then like within a couple of months, things would be really different. Like the population growing by the day, by the weeks, right? And along with that came sticky situation, like where people needed help, assistance, and then also along with them came youths in their early 20s or late teens and things like that, and with that, social issues and things like that. Yeah, the main, the aims and objectives of having the association was actually to establish something uniquely Bhutanese out here, right? Where you can freely express your concerns, and if you have worries and things like that, just to reach out to them as well, especially in your sickness, in the times of trouble, so you can just go and ask for help if you can. So that was one of the main objectives. And along with them, there were few popular people from Bhutan coming here, and as well monks and the Rinpoches and the lamas as well, and some dignitaries as well. So you do needed a focal point out here for them to organize and to make those sort of things happen. So it was also one of the objectives of Association of Witness in Perth, to establish itself. But it just came upon us a wild idea when I was in my early 20s, I suppose, with a bunch of friends, and then we were just having a chat and thinking and talking about, look, there are like so many people from so many other parts of the world where they have their own like communities and things like that, and we said that we just can't be like that, like a bunch of wanderers or things like that. But we said that like probably the best way to unite ourselves is to have an association or a sense of community and belongingness. So this is how it started. So the talks and and this idea about ABPI actually started around 2010, 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. And it just materialized in about 2012, 2013. Yeah.
So ABPI,
Mm-hmm.
from what I understand, now it's like it has a life of its own, right?
Mm.
And if I'm not wrong, it was a brainchild of yours. Like you wanted You wanted to like have a place or have an organization where Bhutanese coming into Perth could go to talk to, or just some place they can go to meet somebody who's from the same community. And then everything that ABPI has done now, what it is now, is it what you thought, is it what you hoped it would turn into?
First of all, I wouldn't take the credit of being the brainchild, right? No, thank you for saying that. But there are lots of people involved in there, especially there was this page on Facebook called A Business in Perth. So this is where the name was borrowed, because that page was actually turned into association's page. And that was run by a very brilliant young guy, Kokamat City. So he's still here now. He's come back and now he lives in Perth full time. So credit to him for doing that. And there were other Buddhist people heavily involved in forming this association, and then building it up, bringing all the parts together and establishing this. And to
like who all? Do we know them?
Yeah.
Oh.
There was Sonam Tashi, the first president, Dr. Sonam.
Oh yes, we had her.
Yeah, and then also Dr. Kamangirup, then who else was who else were there? There are other people as well, like Outseten, Ahotem, Sonam Tenzin, and Pema Tshoki. We had and forgive me if I forget some of the names, but I'll try to remember as much as I can. Pelanchora, Churamani, Kadola, and as well as who else were there? Karma Dorek would be one of them, and also we do have lots of people who are heavily involved in the community, like especially the guys who used to play sports then together and things like that. They've got a lot. Yeah. And now the second part of the question. Yes, it just turned into a big thing, isn't it, nowadays? The idea was just to have a simple kind of an avenue for people to express their concerns, as well as to seek for help and things like that. But now I in a way feel that ABPI has just been too politicized, where people just think it's just politically a kind of an organization or things like that. Yes. But we are forgetting the very essence of ABPI out here, and that is it's a social organization.
Yes.
And it doesn't belong to anybody or any group of people. It's a community organization. It belongs to the whole of the Bhutanese community here in Perth, as well as people in Bhutan and everywhere. Yes. So every decision that ABPI takes or anything they do, we're liable for all the people out here. So, and anybody can come and question why that has happened, why this has happened, and things like that. So, but what we really need to understand about ABPI is that it is because of us this organization is there, right? Like people like you, me, and we Bhutanese here, and then it's because of people like us that we can, take it further down, and into the next levels of a strong, a social organization. Right now we do have got a lot of confused people, I suppose, when it comes to ABPI, seeking clarity around the rules and as well as the functioning of ABPI when you have so many other organizations out here, all those organizations, inclusive of sporting association, firstly, then secondly, then you have the different religious entities as well here as well, and there's also student bodies out here. But what people need to understand is that ABPI is an organization that should be the apex organization for everybody to go in there, because it should be an organization which should be able to bring out all the organization under one page, and then have a very well-knitted community, put it that way, rather than having frictions and factions between the community. So it should be the one that should be bringing all together. But my thought would be wish people would put more faith in ABPI to
Yes.
take it further. Yeah. So I think it is a bit misunderstood at the moment, but I think down the track, more clarity will be there around
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes. I remember speaking to somebody a couple of months ago, weeks ago, I think, and then he said something to me that really made me feel like, yeah, that's definitely right. And he said, if Bhutanese people, the dubdu sushutani bachni natara shutarenchi salabe, because 30,000 people is not a
True.
small number, right? When we knowing that there are 30,000 Bhutanese people in the community in like Perth is one thing, seeing them, especially when His Majesty graced us with his audience in October last year, it was something else. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's definitely right. If Bhutanese people, Shutani Machin Nachara Shutaren Chimo, there are other communities who have these really, really big events, and the rest of the world knows, rest of Perth, Australia knows that, oh, this is the Chinese New Year, right? Oh, this is Diwali for the Indian community. So I just wanted to ask you, with how ABPI is going and the Bhutanese community, as Bhutanese people continue to achieve more success, become like, better versions of themselves, what is your hope for ABPI? What's next for ABPI?
Okay. That's a tough question, but I'll break down into like multiple answers if that's okay. Firstly, to answer your first question, right? To this shutani majin shutani ki disiruenchi se, and it loosely translates to like if Buddhist people were to be wealthy and powerful, it's already time because we do have the base to
Yes.
do that here, right?
I
But
think,
yeah.
sorry, I think it also means that the Bhutanese community, if right now is the right time for us to be like more united, more
Yeah,
cooperative,
true,
like
true.
more cooperative with each other as well.
Yeah.
So yes, so please add on.
Yeah. The thing is that we really have to understand this. All the people that have migrated from Bhutan to Australia, we are the first generation, right? And I do understand like there are a few other communities like the Vietnamese, the Italians, the Middle Eastern, the Lebanese, there are so many other communities here in Perth, and they have huge businesses and things like that. And I was with the Irish women for 8 years, and even Irish in Perth are like pretty,
Yes.
they have taken over quite a lot of construction and mining industries and things like that.
Yeah.
But what we really need to understand is that we are the first generation of people coming here. But those communities, those people, they already have so many generations of people come before them,
Yes.
And this is what I say, because those people do have some sort of, linkage to us, old money, more connection, more social capital with other people around here, like see the establishment, the government, the other community members and things like that. But while we Bhutanese are still like struggling to navigate around this, this amazing maze of, relationships, building like trust, as well as finding partners in the other communities and in the local government to move forward. But in saying so, there are quite a few people out here doing really well. And as you would know that, I was just reading some snippets from, I think it was BBS and things like that. And I saw like some people like donating quite a lot of money towards the Galifu Mindfulness City and things like that. I'm proud of them. I'm really
Yes,
proud of them and
exactly.
what they're doing. But in their own rights, there are quite a few entrepreneurs out here, like doing really well. For example, this is one good example of LNB Global as well. They're doing pretty well. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we would have never thought of doing those things,
Yes.
And you see like how many restaurants are here now, how many stores are here, and how many, to say, people have started their beauty salons. I think I even saw somewhere like there's even a dentist here, like Bhutanese
Yes.
dentist and things
Yes.
like. You're proud to, I think like we're getting there. We slowly get there. That's the first part, and the second part was, you were right. When this is the time where we have to really unite and move forward, right? Bhutanese as one, like our the great fourth would always say one nation, one people. We should apply the philosophy here as well because we are in a foreign land, you know. No matter even if you're Australian by choice or even if you're permanent residents or things like that, right? You're always a Bhutanese, you know, first and foremost. So obviously, you know, they say at the time of hardship and things like that, no matter however, you know, relationship you have with people from other people, or communities or other countries or things like that, in the end, I think Bhutanese people are the ones that would help. The testament to that is like, for example, like if somebody is sick in the hospital and then like really going through rough patch, so you can see on the ABPI pages like how many people donate and how they help. So kudos to all those Bhutanese people out here. So likewise, when it comes to business, I think they will be way smarter people around here and like with the business mind and like, you know, with that business acumen. So probably just I think like when you come to second generation, when our kids are growing up and things like that, during that time we will see hopefully few millennials in Perth. Yeah.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes, that's like, I really hope that happens for the community.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Bhutanese people is they like to share their blessings, you know. And
True.
then the news that you told me about, I think it's, if I'm not wrong, the founder of Education Pro.
Yeah.
Who said he like donated a lot of money. I think I'm so bad with maths. I don't actually remember the number. But then that's one thing about Bhutanese people. You know, we like to share our blessings. We, especially if we are eating really well, we like to make sure that other people are also at the table with us.
Yes, true.
And then like steering the conversation away from heavy stuff like that. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your personal life.
Okay, sure.
You, I know, are like you have 3 sons. How has that changed your idea of life, like decision making, life, anything like has that changed you as a person?
Well, actually, it's just made me into a father. You know, like probably it's just grown me quite a lot. You know, like from being somebody who's just free spirited, carefree, just kind of thing. I could pack my bags and go anywhere I want to go to. Somebody that I have to think twice about doing things and like that. Especially like people who are close to me or people who know me for quite a long time would actually say the same. And one of the most important that I have developed with these 3 boys of patience. And then like I have to be very innovative with like how I deal with them and how I bring them up and things like that. So yeah, if it change, I think like hopefully I've changed for better. Yeah.
Oh, how do you deal with, especially when you're raising your kids in a place like Australia and then so multicultural as well? I understand the kids are half Irish and half Bhutanese, right?
Yeah.
That's such a wonderful combination because Irish people also have a lot of pride in their heritage and in their roots. How does discipline and then, you know, giving them ideas about the world or then like teaching them something, how does that work in your, like, with your parenting?
You see, like when I was with Jessica, that's the name of their mother. So it was just kind of hard because like we had conflicting styles of like bringing up children, right? So no matter how much you live like out of Bhutan, and even if your kids are being brought up in the first world country or in the other end of the world, you know, the Bhutanese in you comes out sometimes, like, you know, like you know, like being loud, you know, like where you don't have to, and things like that. But then, like, when you look at little children's like psyche and the cognitive development and things like that, I think, and me working in that field as well, so it has helped me quite a lot. But now I'm a single dad with 3 sons, so and I do 50% of the care, so it's actually planning quite a lot, around things, what we need to do, how we need to do. What sort of things they're going to do out of school, and also not trying to force things onto them, you know, giving them choice and giving them control over what they want to do, but also like letting them know the repercussions. Or like for example, if they've just been loud, if they have not been listening, so like, you know, when they're yelling inside the house, things like saying inside voice, you know.
Yes.
Or if they're just like out in the public yelling, then I just say that switch on your listening ears, so then they listen up. And worst come to worst, when it is just like at this level, when it just becomes too difficult, then I just tell them, I give them time out. I know it's isolating and things like that, but you have to do what you have to do,
Yes.
because, you know, like I just but make sure that all of them are in one room,
Yes.
and I just put them into different corners, and they say like 5 minutes time out,
Okay.
and they listen, because
Yes.
that's teaching them responsibility for
Yes.
their action. And then once I let them out of their timeout, I explain to them why they had the timeout, and so they realize, you know, Kyron, my oldest, is 6, so he understands that quite a lot. And then Darcy, the middle one, he's getting there. But Arlo is just 2 years old, but he just follows whatever his brother does.
Yeah.
But then, like, I also try to explain to him, because no age is too young for explaining, you know. And I just try to talk them in a way that I talk to any normal, any one of us, like an adult, things like that. Because then if I just stoop down to the level and, you know, like talk in like kitty language sometimes, it just becomes difficult for them to understand.
Yes.
So I try to avoid the jargons and the big words and whatnot, but I just simplify what I have to tell them, but I tell them what they need to do. Yeah, that works out quite well. But the other thing is also management of the time, because by then, like, I work full time, right? And I have things to do with and the community, as well as in my personal life and things like that. That becomes a bit of a challenging thing. So I have actually 3 calendars. So the calendar is my life now. I have work calendar, my personal life calendar, and then like kids calendar, so that I don't miss up any of the appointments or things like that. So, and then also we have a blank page there, so there's to-do list, the task and things like that, so where you can drag it off from the calendar and put it there, or just like cancel it, done, like finished. So that's how I do it. That's how we do it.
Oh, okay. That must be really hectic most days. Oh. Have the boys been to Bhutan?
No, they haven't.
Okay.
That's the saddest thing. I'm not really proud to say that they haven't been to Bhutan. Jessica was pregnant when Karen first went to Bhutan.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean to say, in theory he has, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, but he has never been to Bhutan. Neither are the 2 other boys. And then I'm hoping that we'll get to Bhutan by the end of this year, or probably the beginning of next year, because I'm guilty of them not being able to see their grandfather, their grandmother, as well as how Bhutan is.
Yes.
They do talk about Bhutan at times, and now they are getting at that age where they need to identify their culture and things like that. Just for instance, yesterday, actually St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, so that's more like Irish people's national day kind of a thing. So it's a century-old tradition, but they have a parade, so I had to take them down to parade yesterday for the St. Patrick's Day. So like in that sense, they are very aware of the Irish culture and the tradition.
Yes.
But as you would also see that when there are witness functions and things like that, I do try to take them as much as I can, like dress up in go and things like that. But dressing them up in go, like 3 of them, and trying to put them in a car and go there. It's a challenge in itself. And, you know, like sometimes they say, we are very uncomfortable and things like that. And I do understand that. But then I also tell them, like, why they have to wear things like that. So, yeah.
I forgot what was I gonna say, but I was like so interested in like how you manage how you manage to like raise the kids in such a multicultural household, or when it's so intersectional, especially both the two very so much culture in both sides of their like parentage. I also when you were like you said you have custody arrangement of the kids, like, and you said it's 50-50. How does that work? Like, is it 50-50 in a week or in a month, or?
No, I'll be really thankful for Jessica for like giving all that she can, right? Sometimes I travel quite a lot, and I have to travel Like sometimes I have to travel on weeks on and weeks off, and things like that. Like it's international travel as well. So there are absolutely time where I just can't take them. But I try to take them as much as I can with me when I do my overseas travels and things like that. But that means missing school. Yeah. So if my stay in a different country is more than a week, I definitely take all three of them by myself. Yeah. It's fun. It's hectic. It's crazy. It's madness. But you go to school to get literate. You learn your ABC 1 to 3s and whatnot, right? But are you educated? I doubt. That's just my personal.
Yes,
just my
obviously.
personal opinion.
Yes.
Education is the best travel. I mean to say, travel is the best education. Like for example, if you talk about places and things that they see and that they have done and learned, they'll tell you. So I also make sure that when I'm working out there, we do have a babysitter. So I in that particular country. So I do. I know my travel dates and things like that. So what I do is I contact people in that country and then do a background check on that nanny or the babysitter, and then make sure that that person is able to homeschool them.
Okay.
So for that duration of the time. So what they do is they learn by learning by doing stuff. Like for example, going down to zoo, or even like going down to historical places and things like that, museums and things like that. So I'd say it's fascinating in a way. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that must be a lot of work, a lot of planning.
Yeah, it does.
So
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Might have been. You might probably be like exhausted by the end of the day with all that planning and between 3 calendars as well, making sure that all of your to-do list is getting ticked.
Do you know, like, actually, you only realize when you're exhausted when there's nobody in the house and only by yourself. And that's the time when you just really feel that, I'm drained, kind of a thing. And then, like, also, when I have those sort of a days, I do have other commitments, like in the community. Currently, I have taken up the position as one of the board of directors for ABPI. On top of that, I also manage a soccer team, football team out here in Perth. And also, there are so many other things that I do, and there's also business aspect to the things that I do, and there are multiple business that I'm involved in. So those are the things that, takes a bit of a time. But getting there, we'll get there.
Definitely. And do the kids also travel as much as you? Like, how does that work usually?
Okay, last year, 2024, the top part of the year they were in Ireland, and then they were in UK, and all three of them. And but the middle part of the year, Kyron was with me in Broome for a couple of weeks. Then after that, the boys and I did a trip down south, like Margarita to Albany kind of a thing, for a couple of days. Then after that, we were in Malaysia for 2 weeks, I think. And then we were in Singapore as well. So that was just a glimpse of 2024, but 23, 22, 21, 20, there got a lot of traveling involved,
Yes. Oh, with everything that you have going on, I'm pretty sure that you live a very busy life and you have like accomplished a lot of things, I should say. In your opinion, what has been your biggest professional achievement so far?
A professional achievement. Wow. Look, I'm heavily involved with Aboriginal people up there in the Kimberleys. It's the northern part of Western Australia for people, for the listeners who are not in Australia. Kimberley is actually size of about 40, 50 times the size of Bhutan. And I go into remote communities. Like when I say remote communities, it's really remote, where you have to drive for 11 hours, 12 hours with nothing. And some of the communities are in the desert, or some of the communities are in really crazy places, like where there are crocs, snakes, sharks, or whatever it is. And then also, you do have social, social issues and things like that up there. And their English is also not English, so they speak Pidgin and their local languages and things like that. So, and I advocate for them, and I reconnect families. Their families out here in Perth or in some part of others, other big Australian cities in town. I bring them back home, especially people with mental health and things like that. Probably that is one thing that I'm proud of.
Yes.
Yeah.
At some point, the last time we met, you said that you have a business of your own that heavily deals in the mental health industry.
Yeah.
What does it really do?
Okay, so there are two components of this business, right? The business is based in Broome, that's in Kimberley. So, and is also run by my family. So I have an adopted Aboriginal family from a place called Lagrange, or Bijidanga in their language. So, and it's a Aboriginal corporation. It's like purely run by Aboriginal people and for Aboriginal people. So I'm the only non-Aboriginal, but I fall into that category because I've been adopted. So they take me as one of them, thankfully. So what we do is, especially in the places like that, the mental health and things like that, it's just like heavily because of lack of schooling, you know, firstly. Secondly, the lack of social supports, having no values in families, like the broken up families. And then as well as like obviously social and recreational usage of drugs and alcohol and things like that. So what happens is, on an average, by the age of 16 or 17, most of them would have incarcerated or been in prison for once. So now when they enter the system, or when they're in that sort of a system, it's very difficult for them to go back to their families and reconcile. So what we do is we deal with those sort of people, especially in the justice system, and then we take them. We deal with the department, communities, the guardians, the trustees, and everything, as well as the stakeholders. We take them back to Broome, and we also take them. Then after from Broome, that we take them back into their communities. And making sure that in Aboriginal culture, there's thing called Aboriginal law. So because their law, they do not fear the normal Australian law, things like that, but mostly their own law. So we just have to make sure that the elders and the rest of the people understand what's happened and things like that, to reincorporate them into communities. That's the hardest part of the job. That's what we do. And the second one is your standard people that you get. I mean to say, when I say standard, means people that you get, people with mental health issues. They are on the verge of homelessness, where they do not have houses, or where they do not have places to live and things like that. So we take them in, and then try to give them new life.
Amazing! Wow. How did you even get into this? How did you get into this industry of work?
I've been like doing this for 14 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And how did it start? What was the motivation?
Firstly, I started this as a job, right? Like everybody. So then, like after that,
You were doing support work?
Yeah, I started as a support worker. So then, after a while, then like I started like managing things, and then like seeing a bigger picture of how things are. And then later on, I went to work in Broome as one of the regional managers. So from there, then my relationship with these people started, and from there I understood like what was needed, and it was actually the people from the communities who asked me to like help them out. So this is how this business came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe that you're also heavily involved with the football community in Perth?
Yes.
Yes. And, what does that really mean for you? Because I'm assuming you also have a club of your own, don't you?
Yes. It's not my club, it's a collective club, right?
Okay.
Me and the boys, we just say like it is our kind of what do you call it, the place where a safe place for all of us to just go and like vent out of frustrations and things like that. But like you see, sports has always been a special like part of my life since I was a little kid. We used to play football back in Bhutan, and then there was no TVs or things like that. So I was just all running into the field, running into like small like Ari, paddy fields,
Yes.
like making like goalposts with stones and things like that. Used to play that since we were 6, 7, and always been a big fan of football. But nowadays, now what I realize is like after playing for so long, then I reflected, not ruminating about it, reflecting about it. I just understood that, like, hey, look, this sports has actually made me into a better person. Because of the sports and dedication from us, I've escaped so many social issues that I would have got involved into, right? I mean, to say negative issues. And the club that we're running right now is called Rising Star Football Club. And it's a club consisting of mainly very young people. There are only like a couple of people that are almost 30 or, like, in 30-ish. It's just because the whole essence of that club is we want to we want people who is 26 years and below get heavily involved in the club and and play for us, as well as be united and things like that. Because the kids in that club mainly consists of people like they were Hasis, they were little kids, and I know them, and also. And they know their values and they know the Australian way of life, and they also know what is social issues and how to avoid it and things like that. So that is actually just some sort of a mentorship for Bhutanese people who comes from Bhutan and feels lost and feels like there's no friends like their same age group where they can relate to, where they can understand, bounce off each other, So it's an opportunity, a platform for them to come in, firstly to showcase their skills, and secondly to be a part of a great group with a bunch of other guys that's got similar missions, similar thoughts, and similar aspirations in life. So that's one of the reasons why we had that club. Yeah, but fortunately we ended up winning the league last year.
Oh, nice.
So, but
Is
like
there
hopefully
any cash prize?
there was a cash prize, but the biggest prize was to travel interstate for the Gelsey Cup, which happens every year. But last year was in October in Brisbane. So everybody from the club went out there, starting our like medic, our water boys, ball boys, or whatever you want to call it. So everybody from the club went up there. So it was quite good. There were, I think, 24 or 25 of them there. We lost in the finals, but to a better team.
Just to get there,
Yeah.
that must have been really fun.
Yeah, it was because it's not about like just the game out there, right? It's about the experiences and like stupid little things that we do. Like right now, with things things we did, but like down 20 years down the line, or like we can tell those stories to our grandson or to our sons and say that like we did this and that and this. So yeah, so memories making memories. Put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, do you personally feel like because everything that you have done for the community and for how when you first like went around and then brainstorming your ideas of getting ABPI started, and then this football, and then the work that you do with what's the organization, that the business that you were talking about?
It's called Building Dreams.
Building Dreams. All of this, between all of this, how do you wind down? Like, how do you what do you do for stress relief, and what do you do to like just take a minute for yourself usually?
Of another business. I'm not. It's not a business, but it's actually a collective. I would have spoken to you about this thing. It's called Mindsoul.
Yes.
Yeah, if you would permit, I want to speak a little bit about it. So, Mindsoul is also like it's a digital currency, right? Or cryptocurrency, as people would say it. So it's about it's a community-owned coin as well. It's community, right? And then the background to this one is it's just mainly because like GMC is starting in Bhutan, so it's all got to do with your mindfulness as well as like showcasing Bhutan as a great place for people to come in there for a retreat as well as for like being mindful, and everything is being like planned, constructed, very mindfulness, like being mindful about the co-relationship between your mental health, your environment, as well as your economic growth, right? And me also working in this field of mental health issues and things like that. Because see, like got a lot of Buddhist people coming up, going down that way. And I don't know whether I have told you that this or not. in next 20 years, there will be more people dying of mental health issues than cancer.
Yes.
So what we have done is, it's right now what we do is we call it the token coins, right? And it's the coin is called Mind Soul. So actually, it's a mindfulness coin built on a blockchain called Solana, right? So it's called Mind Soul. But in other words, you can even say that loosely translate that into your mind and your soul, right? So what you do is you can be anywhere around in the world, right? And you can read an article that we post on our app and things like that. So people can read that, and then once you read that, then you get tokens for spending your time and reading on that one. And that is about your strategies, like about how to calm yourself down, a 2-minute meditation, or how to be mindful about things like that. And it's also about articles that we would have borrowed from other people, of course, with permission to put it in there. So up to certain stage, when your token coins get to up to certain stage, then you can convert that into real money, and the real money is called utility coins that we have, right? So our market cap, we are thinking, is about 100 million, but our strategy is just to mainly to let Bhutanese people buy it, for ourselves and things like that. You can do it for $1, $2, $10, and we don't encourage people to buy in big sum like thousands and thousands, because it's a digital currency, and it's a cryptocurrency. So we don't know like what would happen, right? But meanwhile, eventually, our aim is to get that coin release in mainstream market, and our aim is to get to $1 for value of one coin. So that means if you get it to $1, so whatever you invest would multiply by quite a lot. And I mean to say, in the end of the day, who knows? But that's the idea done this way. And also, there's a bunch of people like expert and professionals behind this. We have developers, software engineers, as well as people who have been in this industry for a very long period of time. And also, we do have people who look at the security and things like that of the blockchain. And then, as well as we also have market analysts and strategies and things like that to do that. So if you guys are interested, you can go into platform and just like click and like search Mindsol, MINDSOL, and then you can actually see the coins and the rest of the things there.
Nice. Yes. And what was the inspiration behind this?
It was actually not my idea, to be really honest. It was an idea of one of my friends. He's been in a very heavy investor, like I'm going to say, that's cryptocurrency. Is his life,
Yes.
And then we sat down and we discussed about this one, and we thought like there's another one in Bhutan as well. I think it's called Ter.
Yes.
Yeah. So similar to that one, but ours is kind of our currency is just mainly because like we just want to keep it into our community, right? Our ultimate goal is actually to establish a wellness center in GMC. Where we want to build a house. It's just going to be free of charges, where whoever comes in there, they can stay there, they can meditate, they can do whatever they need.
Yes.
And then also we will have professionals there, so mental health professionals and things like that. And who knows, maybe I might take my expertise there, and maybe I just might be one of them there.
That would be really...
Yeah. So, but that's the idea. But we want to do that in next 2 to 3 years and get to a market cap. So once we get to where we need to be, so then we will just release our utility coins.
Yes.
And from there on, so then you can just start to multiply your investment.
All right. As we near the end of the show, there are some quick questions that I wanted to ask you throughout the show, but then I kept forgetting. So it might be like this might not have a proper flow to it.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
I wanted to is there anything that you think is widely misinterpreted or misunderstood about ABPI?
There is. It's a really big misunderstanding about ABPI. It's just because people, I think like people should do more research on it, and people should try to understand that in depth. It's a social organization. It's a community organization. Like It's for the people, by the people, right? And we really need to support ABPI if we need to have stronger outcome from ABPI. It's not just an organization where people go there for donations and things like that. And likely, I said that it's disheartening to see, like, got a lot of people out here, right, and in the Buddhist community per se in Perth or be it everywhere, where they're running parallel organization or kind of a steering committee or things like that, where just like completely sidestepping ABPI and then doing the things where ABPI should be doing. ABPI has achieved quite a lot because I've been silent for the last 8 years or 7 years or something like that with the association. I've just been an observer, but like when I reflected, a deep reflection of things like they've achieved quite a lot. But have we given credit to them? I don't think, right? We as a member of the community has credited them enough. So maybe we should just be a little realistic about what they really do and just like be less cynical about them. And then like it's okay to criticize them, but as well as like when we criticize them, we should have our two legs to stand on, right? Just come blatantly criticize them and being mindful. Those people on those the executives and the committee members are full-time people that work for their own lives and they have families and so many other commitments, but they still work for ABPI on a volunteer basis. So it is got a huge give back to the community, and I think that we should be more forgiving to them than like less critical about them. Yeah.
And just to add on to that, this might be unpopular, but I personally feel like we have become very cynical as a society, and I don't think that's really the right way to go about it. If you look at comment section of any Bhutanese news, any post, even if it's like just one harmless post by a TikToker, there are like so many Bhutanese people who are saying a pretty like very negative things that doesn't actually add much to the conversation, doesn't add much to the discussion. And I really, really agree that we have to be a little bit more forgiving than we are right now, a little bit more understanding as well. This cynicism is not doing anybody any good, to the point where I have heard people say a lot of times like, oh my god, I hope that this doesn't end up like being memed by the community or whatever. But we are also equally at fault for that, because we are not calling out that behavior. We are, even if I'm not actively participating on it, but if I see something like that and if I don't say anything about it, I'm also like at some point endorsing that behavior.
Yes, so true, because this is something that lesson that we should learn, right? Especially like from we aspire to be a country where, like I said, that we are all literated. That's what I was telling you about getting educated. So we really need to get educated about these things. But the first thing is like, if you want to come up on a social media and things like that, become a social media personality, right? I think the most important thing is to love yourself. Be yourself. Self-affirmation, right? People with this like rip you and shred you to pieces, but you should be able to stand up firstly. But secondly, it's absolutely wrong. I'll just put it straight out. To be commenting on people or just like say things on social media, right? It's just because you're just adding up like fuel to fire, and then like it's not just a commenter, right? It's the commenting and the sub-commenting and then the carry on that's on there. So I think like relatively immature when it comes to those sort of a thing. But like I don't mean to say that I know it all and things like that. But this is what I observe as well. So one of the communities or society that we have to learn from is probably Japan. They have very similar culture to us, right? But actually their way of respect is, I think, like 100 times better than us, or like more understanding than us. So this is where we really have to look into like model onto those sort of a thing. I feel
Oh, like I told you, my questions do not actually have a flow.
Okay.
Just things I wanted to know about you. What's next for you and the boys? Like, what's happening next for you guys?
Personally, or like what?
Like personally, like
in April, the first week of April, we're going to Kuala Lumpur again, and
Kuala Lumpur.
This time is to find a family route for one of my sisters, part of the sisters in Broome.
Yeah.
So she wants to find a family. So we are going on an adventure to find a family. And end of April or first week of May, we're off to Japan for 2 weeks, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are actually living my dream.
No, it's not living your dream. It's just like, yeah.
I've always wanted to travel, minus the kids, of course.
No.
I don't think I'd be able to, because I get overstimulated really easily. So I don't know how much you're like a way better person than me, because I don't know how well I would be able to manage so many things. But then I've always wanted to travel.
As the thing is, because you think in that way because you haven't tried.
Yeah.
Like to really gauge yourself and see how well you can deal with this. Just like give yourself a chance to do that, right? But when I'm saying that, like we're traveling and things like that, it's not that like I can afford this or things like that.
Yes.
People buy big houses or big cars and things like that. I'm not into those sort of things. Like people ask me like, you have been here for like you would have like 3, 4, 5, 6 houses everywhere. Then I'm just in the back of my head is like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Like I always say, like I invest my money in air tickets and the places, and my investment for my kids is good education that they get, like traveling as well as going to school. And then when they are 18, before they turn 18, actually, I want to go and live in Bhutan for 2 years.
With them?
Yeah, with all 3 of them. That's just to reconnect themselves with the culture and to learn more about it. And then I can give back to the culture, to the community with whatever I know about mental health and, helping people with disabilities and things like that. And after that, when they turn 18, my gift to them, my welcome gift to them for like welcome to adulthood would be like probably have a first beer with them, with all 3 of them, and then give them a one-way ticket to wherever they want to go to the world, and then see the world. That's it. Yes. Yeah. So I'll just have to throw them in the deep and then let them try to figure what life is. So some of the best friends that I have right now are the people that I've met through my traveling and things like that. That's the reason sometimes people ask me like, you're single and this and that. Why don't you get a Bhutanese girl, get married, settle down? Like, like the questions. And you would have heard that as well. Like when people tell me that thing, and I'm worried about. You worry about your relationship and your things. Like it's not like I'm not going to date Bhutanese girls or whatever it is. I would if there is a right one, right?
Yes.
But right now, I'm not looking for it. But whoever I meet, whatever I meet, are people that have same thoughts about, the same opinion towards life, like me. So that's what's more important.
Sure.
That's what I thought, and that's how I feel.
Also, it's so much more about what you consider important and what's your priority, right? A lot of people, they want to make money and then they want to like build houses back home or here, but then to you, that might not be how you get gratification. That might not be what you consider important for yourself.
True. But I'm not downgrading that or downplaying that. When people have different priorities, right? And then like my priority is that I just think that I've been there, done that. So, and then that's not a part of me that I could deal with. It's just because I just feel like overwhelmed, like having houses or cars or whatever it is. It's just scary for me, put it that way. So I just want to leave life off the beaten track and just do what I can. So that's it. Simply live a simple life.
That actually, I think you don't know how much. I don't think you realize how healthy that is, for people to be like, okay, I'll just live a simple life, do what I want to do, not worry about what society expects out of a 30-year-old me or, a 25-year-old me. On that note, what is your hope, or what is, I don't know how to phrase this properly. How can people outside of the country, outside of Australia, or people from Bhutan back home, how do you think they can help in strengthening ABPI's presence and ABPI's mission?
That's it. Like I said right early on, you really have to revisit and rethink what a social organization is firstly, right? And then also think what community engagements that they can like really be present and then, you know, show your support. The most important thing right now is membership and just being a member of ABPI and things like that, because it's numbers in strength, right? Or strength in number. It's not numbers in strength, I think it's strength in number.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and this is what we're lacking at, right? We got around 30,000 Bhutanese people out here, and
Yes.
ABPI would have barely have 2,000, 3,000 members, right? It shows the disparity of,
Yes.
you know, like heavy imbalances out there. But in saying so, if somebody is really in need, right, they would eventually go to ABPI, right?
Yes.
But we have to like be logical and think like logically out here. So ABPI, I think like what the membership is about $10, $20, things like that for a year. So it's also like think it that way, even if you do not get anything in return, but it's your contribution to the Buddhist community
Yes.
out here. This is your home away from home, right? You know. And good thing about ABPI is I've just been to their inauguration yesterday because they have now office, a physical office up
Where?
the main street in Osborne Park.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Don't quote me on this. I think it's 257 Unit 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you can look at their page. So they have actually,
Yes.
they've actually, I think, advertised the address and things like that. So, and I've also told the executives like if you cannot man your office because of your work and things like that. So I said that I could bring my work down to the office and then like be there for a day or so in a week, just to make sure that there is there somebody there if
Yes.
people come or if people want
Yes.
to come there physically. Now that is one step, like you know, like a small step towards achieving the ultimate goal of having your own community centers or
Yes.
having your own everything. Yeah, that's one
Yes.
thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really nice to know. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it just happened yesterday. So yeah.
I would have seen it online, but maybe I just
Yeah.
haven't like that hasn't come on my page yet.
Yeah.
But it's like really, really nice to know that ABPI finally has a proper office of
Yeah.
its own.
Yeah.
It actually gets so much done when there's like a physical space to go to, right?
Yes.
And then this is my last question to you, Ao.
Sure.
What is your, if you have any advice, if you have any message for people who are planning to, Bhutanese people who are planning to come to Bhutan, Bhutanese people who are already here, who want to apply for their TR, their PR, as somebody who's been here
Okay.
for way longer, as somebody who has seen Perth, you know, and seen the Bhutanese community have a life of its own. Do you have any advice and message for them?
Yeah, maybe we could spend a day like listening to my advice, but I'll just like try to keep it really candid. Okay, the first thing is, you mean to say Bhutanese people coming to Australia, right? Yeah. Look, my small piece of advice would be like when Bhutanese people come to Australia from Bhutan, the first thing they do is they go down to the shopping center, get the latest phone, right? And then after that, like, then you go to see places and then like look for job firstly. But you know what do Chinese and Indian people do? Because they come here with a mission or like, you know, with a goal of like staying back here as a permanent resident or things like that. So what they do is before going and like into shopping center to get your phones or like, you know, finding a job or things like that, they go and find the best migration agent that is there in Perth. They go down there, they spend a few $100s in there, have a good sound advice about how you're going to plan your life in Australia for next 2 years or 3 years.
Yes.
In that way, firstly, you'll save time because you'll exactly know what you got to do to
Yes.
get to where you need to get to,
Yes.
right? And also they'll also let you know that, okay, you can do this course for 6 months and then change into this course or that
Yes.
course, because those people are tested and those people are, you know, like they have been through so many people
Yes.
that have come for their advices.
Yes.
Do that firstly, right? And secondly, I don't know how people in Bhutan would think about coming to Australia. Eventually start straight away, you're going to get a house, a car, and
Yeah.
you know, a job and things like that. You know, it's a real world out here. So if you persevere, if you work hard, if you really do what you need to do, you'll be really successful, right? Then if you're laid back, if you're easygoing in life, so the life will treat you in the same way out here. So, but for young aspiring people who want to come to Australia, I would advise you guys to map out your goal for next 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years and see what you really want to do. It's not just in Australia, even go to America or to Europe or to Canada. Think what you really want to do. Because it's not easy to get yourself established in any of this country. And people might even take years to get established. But then that is the prime time of your life. Your age, you're very strong, if you have good opportunities in home, I would advise to think twice whether you want to go there or not. It's just because now the rules are keeping on changing. For instance, I just heard America has put Bhutan on no visa list, right?
Yeah.
Just day before yesterday. So things like that
But it's
might
not
happen.
definite. I think it's just like
A speculation. But thing might happen. So things like that. So if you have good life in Bhutan, think about it. But also, my biggest piece of advice for you is if you have a dream in life, if you want to do something, don't hold back yourself. Just go all out. The least you could do is you'll just be where you were when you first started. You won't go any below than that, right? Do not be scared to chase your dreams. For me, I've just spent half my life out of Bhutan. I've chased my dreams. And I'm not quite there where I want to be, but I'm getting there. I know that. I have experiences that I've been through and the places I've been through, people that I've met, just actually grown me into the person what I am today. So likely, I just say, especially even to you, Sonam, you're very young at the moment. You'll be bogged down with your studies and your life, your work and things like that. Sometimes set that aside. And at least out of 365 days in a year, right? At least for 10 days, I'll say. Forget everything. Forget that. Got family in Bhutan, got this, got this responsibility, this responsibility, and things like that. No, be kind to yourself, love yourself. If you don't love yourself,
with the hard world out there.
Good luck to loving other people, So just enjoy yourself, let loose, and go wherever you want to. And I'll say travel when you can. Go to places like even Indonesia, like even within Australia, there's so many beautiful. Australia is such a massive country, and every state is very distinctly different than other state. Because what you have right now is time and your youth, right? But once you get into that late 30s, early 40s, and their responsibilities and priorities in life changes. So don't wait until there. You will always think that like everybody says that, right?
Yeah.
But that time will never come. Like even if you have $1 million in your pocket, you always aim for that $2 million, right? And it's never going to be enough. So just plan, do what you really need to do. Live your dream.
Yes, definitely. That is wonderful advice. And you are preaching to the choir when you tell me that, because even though I'm poor, because I invest so much money on traveling and then sightseeing and things like that. I have been here less than a year. I've already been skydiving. I've already been on a hot air balloon trip. I've already been yachting. So I personally feel like yes to a stable future where you have something to fall back on, but definitely yes to living in the moment as well, because I'm only ever going to be 26, skydiving once. And then, so definitely I really, really agree with everything that you've had to say. And then that is the end of our session. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I just forgot to pass on
please.
a message. Right, it's just for a very dear friend of mine.
Yes.
His name is Jamin Jamsawanchu, and in other words, he's the messenger.
Yes.
His fame is Gelse's the lead actor, the producer, and everything, and also in the past, the guy who played young Dalai Lama in 7 years in Tibet.
Yes.
Yeah. We've been friends since we were 6 years old, 5 years
Really?
old. Yeah.
I used to have the biggest crush on him when I was really, when I first watched the movie.
Yeah, he's here in Perth.
Oh,
yeah,
is he?
and
Whoa.
if you think I'm crazy, he's more crazier than me, this guy. So he is starting his campaign, the climate change campaign, right? To save our glaciers and to take the messages to the world leader. So he's cycling from Adelaide to Canberra tomorrow.
Oh no.
Yeah, and he's gonna start from. I think that he's just gonna end on the 20th of April.
Yes.
But I just want for you guys to follow him. Yeah, on his Instagram page, Facebook pages, and ABPI pages, and things like that. And please share it, share his stories to other people. So just a glimpse of what he's going to do. So he has actually cycled from Bhutan to Pakistan, right? And then he has also trekked up the glaciers of Lhaki and Jomolari and all those things on his mountain bike. This guy is crazy, but he's real. So now his next dream is to climb all the 7 mountains in the 7 continents, the highest mountains, right? So he's starting with Australia.
Yes.
So that's Mount Kosciuszko. I can't even say it properly. In New South Wales and Victoria. And the second one after this, he's just going to go down to Africa to climb Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
And he has told me that he's going to carry his bike all the way up to top of Kilimanjaro. He's and then after that, he's going to South America to do Mount Aconcagua. So after that, America, Europe, and finally Mount Everest.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, if you guys could
Yes, definitely.
just read his story and reach out to him, and also just to put it out there, this guy is crowdfunding. Okay, so his revenue, his funding for his campaign is all based on crowdfunding, and as well as like creating awareness. So if you guys are interested, he's doing this offer for like, if you donate like your 1 hour's wage, like it could be $30 or something like that, to his campaign. So he's gonna give you the whole link to his docu-series of whatever he's done so far, and also some director's cut, I think, like where you have the full version of Gelsey, and then also some other goodies, I suppose, like he's gonna do, and also let you know where he is at, and you guys would be the first one to receive receive some information about him. So it's actually not a donation; you're actually buying stuff of him.
Yes.
So please support him.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You said he's leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's like, and how long is he? Is he coming back?
Yeah, he's going to come back to Perth on the 20th of April.
Oh, that's so far.
Yeah, so maybe I should tell him that like you should have he should come here and have a chat with you guys, huh?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, so definitely I'll let him know.
I don't know if you will. I actually can't do the maths. I'm not even going to try. I actually don't know if we'll still be on air until 22nd of April. Will we be? Can you do that maths for me? We are like we are on air 1 week each week, and this season has 7 episodes.
He should be there. Yeah.
Oh really? Oh, okay. Yeah, we would love to have. I've actually met him. I've actually shot a video with him. I was producing and directing a video for Bhutan Ecological Society.
Oh, nice.
But he probably might not remember me because I used to be uglier then.
No.
As you grow up, you learn more about like which makeup to use, how to keep your hair. So I don't know if you'll recognize me. But then we have
beauty is just skin deep, right? So the real beauty lies inside.
We still ugly people so that they feel good about themselves. But just kidding. We would love to have him on the show. I think it would be really nice. I mean, the show has reached. We have been lucky in a way that we have reached. We have a decent number of people who watch the show daily.
Yes.
So I think it would be really, really nice to have him here, and then for him to like talk extensively about everything that he believes in. And thank you so much, for like bringing that to light. That's just, I think, what makes you, where you always use your platform and you always use everything that you have, resources that are at your disposal to like bring issues to light, and then like bring somebody who deserves the spotlight front. And I just want to let you know that you are really, really inspiring. I feel like that's just what makes you, where you are constantly trying to do better for everybody around you. You're always trying to share your blessings as well. And I think that's one of the things that will always keep you successful and always keep you happy. So I really wish you all the best with everything that you do here on.
Karishela, thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the talk.
Me too.
Yeah,
it was really nice to
and for
meet you
people out here, for the young people like you in Perth, if you need somebody to talk to or say hello, feel free. I'm here, so I'll try my best to come and talk to every one of you if you really need it.
Yes.
And you know where to get me. You can ask her.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. That is the end of our episode for now. Thank you for tuning into season 3, season 2, and I hope that at this point we have like shot a couple of we have had a couple of episodes out. I don't know if you have liked it or if you think that podcast equipment should be more expensive so that people like me don't have access to it. But then still, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in our next episode. Thank you so much, guys.